These are the wedding bands that Reimi and I made a few weeks ago. We just decided that instead of going out and buying wedding rings, that we wanted to make our own. Because we made these like 2.5 years ago. There's a place in Tokyo and quite a few other locations called Ringram where you can go and make your own rings. And we had a lot of fun, so we decided we want to do it again. I would tell you more about these rings themselves, but I feel like that should be a surprise. Anyway, I'm still kind of sifting through some old footage that I took for the last couple of months and trying to pass it off as my vlogs. So I thought I would take the chance today to talk about my relationship. So Reimi and I met 2.5 years ago.
Reimi's sleepy, so we're gonna start to go home now.
We arrived at the hotel because my birthday. My birthday.
She's hungry already.
じゃあ負けた方がさ、バナナ取りに行こう。今は朝ごはんを準備してます。はい、こんにちは。
はい、こんにちは。
はい、こんにちは。
こんにちは。
飲んださ、あんたの飲んだジュース捨ててくれてたよ。
And to tell you the complete truth, it's been my first actual relationship. Like, I've dated a couple of people in the past, but I've never had anything this serious. So it has been a learning process, to say the least. It almost feels kind of weird to have been in my mid-20s learning how to be in a relationship. But at the same time, I think that was kind of a good thing, because by that time I had kind of figured out who I was, for the most part, and didn't have any internal conflicts when trying to resolve issues with another person. And so we had a great time at the beginning of our relationship. We did all of the things that couples do. We went on lots of dates, and we watched movies together, and we cooked together, and, you know, we had a lot of fun. But not everything is perfect all the time. And so after a while, she ended up having some issues with work, and she had to leave town. She had to go back home to Saitama, and that's where she stayed for quite a few months. And that was really hard for me because I had had issues with a long-distance relationship in the past. And so we continued this cycle of her coming back to town for a couple of weeks, and then she'd be gone for months. And it got to a point where I couldn't really do that anymore, and we reached this ultimatum where I had to say, unless she was going to be able to be with me more often, that it wasn't going to work out, because that's honestly how I felt. And so we made a bit of an arrangement. I don't think I want to call it an arrangement, it was just like, we worked out a way of living. She would stay here for a couple of months and then go back home for a few weeks. And that's how it's been continuing for the last 1.5 years. And in addition to the long distance stuff, we also had to sort through the things that happen when you're in an intercultural relationship. The pace of dating in Japan and the pace of dating in the US, where I'm from, are very different. Reimi and I have talked about this like endlessly on our Instagram page, but in Japan there's not really a feeling out process for two people when they start to become an item. You're either a couple or you're not, for the most part. And so when I tried to tell her there was this period of time called, I don't know, dating, there's this period of time where you're not really partners yet, but you're also not separate. You're like a thing. Because she was very surprised to find out that a month into whatever we had, that we weren't a couple yet, and that I hadn't asked her out formally. I also wasn't expecting her to start bringing up marriage less than a year into the relationship. Like, I know couples talk about getting married, like, oh, do you want to get married in the future? Oh yeah, of course I do. No, it was like, so are we gonna get married? Kind of a talk, and I wasn't ready for that after only 8 months. This was also during the pandemic, so we were kind of in this limbo phase for a long time, where I sort of had the condition that I wanted her to meet my family before we got married. Which I think is kind of a totally reasonable expectation, but I don't know, you be the judge on that. And so I've just had countless experiences like that where we've had some kind of culture clash, although I will say that we've never had like an all-out fight. We've had disagreements in the past, but usually we can get past those or we can talk them out. And I think it's really important to understand that if you're in a relationship where the cultures are pretty significantly different, that there are a lot of times where you or your partner are going to have to compromise on something. Anyway, I am very happy that I got these made, and as a former person who could never get a girlfriend, I am very happy to be getting married this month. Anyway, that's about all I have for today. If you watched until the end, Thank you, and I will see you next time.